Starting up a new business can be tough, so Mohammed Adbin and his family had worked hard to make sure everything would be ready for the opening of their new Sutton Coldfield restaurant.
Opening a new restaurant and a new business, it's very exciting because you can meet lots of new people. I couldn't wait to open it, to be honest.
Although Mohammed's family have been in the restaurant trade for years, this was to be their first venture altogether. And they'd spent a lot of time thinking about how they wanted the place to look. For the finishing touches, they went to their local branch of Floors to Go, hoping to find the perfect carpet.
We did try the different carpet shops, but due to distance, it was kind of waiting a week or a few more days. So we went to Floors to Go and we just had to choose carpets from there. So it would be easy for us and for them.
The family chose carpets and other flooring, which came to a total of £2,779, including fitting. And Mohammed's mum paid for it using her personal credit card, as normal, or so it seemed, on the store's chip and pin machine. A delivery date was agreed 2 weeks before the opening of the restaurant.
The carpets were due to be delivered for end of February, but start of March. So at least we'll have it before opening restaurants, so we could be ready with fresh carpets.
But the date and time of delivery came and went with no sign of the carpet. Starting to worry, Mohammed popped back to the Floors to Go store to find out what was going on.
As soon as it hit 1 o'clock, we thought, okay, it's getting a bit late. So we went to the shop and we went there and just asked the manager, where are carpets? He said they're just here, but he's waiting for their personal delivery man to come and take them.
The Floors to Go store told Mohammed that the carpet would be delivered the next day instead. But the following day, despite the store's assurances, there was still no sign of the carpet.
At that point, it was coming close for us to open the restaurant. It was quite frustrating as well, to be honest, because they did say that we're going to get them delivered the next following day, which obviously did not happen.
With no sign of the carpet arriving and the opening date looming, the family felt they had no choice but to fork out more money for replacement floorings from a completely different store.
At that point, we had to get some carpets from somewhere. It was very stressful as we were short of time. Basically, we had to get the carpets and everything all done in one day. And that day, we didn't have much time.
You can take a chat, sir? Yeah, of course.
Despite the last-minute rush, the Ramadan's opening was a success. And once things had settled, Mohammed was determined to get back the money that his mum had paid Floors to Go for an order that they never received. But there was a problem. The parent company of Floors to Go at the time, Nixon and Hope Limited, had gone into administration, which meant the chances of a refund were looking rather slim.
We would have thought that after administration we could have still got our money back, but still there was no answer.
With Floors to Go now under new ownership, the best way for the family to get their money back was through the credit card provider, Barclaycard. They'd assumed they'd be covered under Section 75 of the Consumer Credit Act, which, as we've said before, would normally split liability for a loss such as this between the retailer and the credit card company. But in this case, it soon became clear that there was an unexpected complication, thanks to a big name that they'd never even known was involved.
This is a letter that we got from Barclaycard to the post regarding our claim. The reply they have given us is, I have fully reviewed your claim, and since the agreement was with PayPal, there is no debtor-creditor supply agreement, and therefore no protection under Section 75.
PayPal? The family had no idea what any of this had to do with PayPal. As far as they were concerned, they'd paid by credit card. But little did they know that while that was the case, and they'd paid via what seemed to be a typical chip and pin machine, Floors to Go had taken the payment via a device called PayPal Here. Now, you may not have heard of it before either, but it is a chip and pin card reader that was introduced to make payments easier for small businesses in February of 2013. And whilst it's extremely convenient for the business, it means the money is now sent via a middleman, PayPal, and not directly between the credit card and the seller, which Barclaycard said stripped them of their usual protection under Section 75. Confused, Mohammed contacted PayPal to see if they could help.
It was like Barclaycard were leaving it for PayPal to deal with the situation rather than themselves, even though the money went from our bank card from Barclaycard, and it was just no help at all. After the bank, we did contact PayPal. We sent letters, emails, and it was no help at all. It was like we're not getting our money back. We're just not getting it back.
What Mohammed finds especially frustrating is that he and his family had no idea that the payment they'd made was any different from a typical credit card transaction, or that it might scupper their chances of getting a refund.
We're basically paying money that we've just given away because we haven't had the carpets.
Convinced they should be covered because they paid by credit card, it was at that point that the family came to us to see if we could help. And we were intrigued. Were they or were they not entitled to their money back? Because if that's a point Barclaycard and PayPal couldn't agree on, it's no wonder there was confusion. PayPal, who processed the transaction through their payment platform PayPal Here, told us in no uncertain terms using PayPal Here is no different to putting a card into any other reader. So in their view, Barclaycard should pay out. So we put that to the credit card company. And after looking into the case again, Barclaycard admitted that it had made a mistake. It told us that Section 75 does apply in this case. So it's apologised to the family and has refunded the money they paid. Barclaycard also said it's taken steps to prevent this mistake from happening again. Richard Cock from the UK Cards Association says that as new payment technologies develop, it's perhaps understandable that there may be confusion over how that affects your rights.
Section 75 was created over 40 years ago, where payments were much simpler. What's happened is that payments have become more complex, and these new parties have entered into the chain. So I would say that where you're making a purchase, ask the retailer what protection you get. If you're at all unsure, walk away, talk to your card provider, and ask their advice.
Mohammed and his family are delighted that this situation has finally been cleared up, so they can concentrate on making sure that their restaurant is a success.
The business is going very well, so we're very happy, but I would not really like to see another consumer deal with a situation like I have.